Welcome to the Do More podcast, where we share strategies and tips for improving your life in every aspect. Here's your host, John Farling.
All right, thanks for coming back. This is show 2 for Don't Stop. And the last show I talked about how I was kind of having, I don't want to say struggles, but it was getting a little bit more difficult with continuing recording shows for the podcast. And here I am 2 days in a row recording. Something just kind of hit me. It was like, you know what? I need to kind of expand upon the don't stop thing. And we all hit it at some point, right? And that's, again, this can be related to anything, business, fitness, relationships, anything. But kind of want to hit on a few things. So last show, we talked about trying to create a new path, create new habits. So whatever you are starting, a new business, you're trying to better your health, better your relationship, you're creating a new path, right? You're not going down the same path you were before. You've got to basically retrain your brain and head down a different path, create new habits so that you stay on that path. I talked a little bit about that last show. So I want to talk about, I guess, some things that you can do to create new habits and help you along that to where you're not to a point where you're like, you know what, this isn't for me. I'm done. I'm moving on to something else. And you just give up on it again, whether it's a new business, real estate investing, health, relationships, whatever it is. So the first thing to me is, and I've found this to be important, is one, and we talked about this, I think it was episode 2, goals. I'm a goal heavy person. I really enjoy goals. And I need to take some of my own advice too, especially relating to this podcast. I do have some goals behind the podcast. However, I think it's also helpful to break down your goals. So take your big goal and break them down to small ones. So I do have a goal of recording at least one podcast per week. At this point, I think I need to probably tweak that a little bit. And I'll give you an example here. So when I search for, and especially when I started searching for self-storage facilities off market, my goal was to send out, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. I think it was 25 letters per week. And it's 2025, somewhere in there. And fortunately, within like a couple of weeks, I was able to find some deals off that. But that was my goal going into it. And I've had that goal since, and it helps. So I took a big goal of, I need to find a self-storage facility to buy. I took that and broke it down into a smaller goal, which was, I want to send out 20 letters for this week. And then I broke it down further from there to where it was, I need to find, and I did this per night. I need to find 5 new facilities in a new market. Need to find out the owner's information, where I'm going to send the letter to, find out a little bit about the facility. So just basically doing my research. So I broke that down. So we'll call that Monday. Monday, I was basically doing research. And if I found 5 facilities and found all the information for all 5, I felt accomplished and successful after doing that work. So right there, I hit a small goal, right? I didn't hit my big goal, which was finding a storage facility. I hit my small goal, which then carried momentum to Tuesday when I don't remember the last thing, probably, or the next thing, probably stuffing those 5 letters, right? Writing the letters for those 5 properties and then mailing them out the next day. And then I would repeat that. And it may not have looked exactly like that, but it was similar. So I took this big goal and then broke it down into 2 smaller goals that allowed me to have immediate success that I could control, right? And I think that's probably key there is I was able to break down my big goal of finding self-storage facility into smaller goals, and those smaller goals are goals that I can control, right? And the more that I accomplish those, the more momentum I get, the more excited I get. You know, if I'm 3 weeks in a row, I'm like, I'm busting this out. I'm doing a great job sending these mailers out. It's going to gain momentum, right? I'm going to feel good about myself doing that thing, doing those things. Now, at some point, I do believe you're going to probably hit a roadblock, right? And I think that's where some of these other key points that I have may come in. And that may be one of them, maybe a higher purpose. What are you trying to gain, right? What are you going after? At that point in time in my journey, it was to get out of my 9-to-5. I had a higher purpose was I knew I wanted to do things on my own, become an entrepreneur. And I just felt in my heart that was my, I don't want to say life mission, but that was my, kind of purpose at the time. And that drove me as well. So I think there's probably a couple factors here that you need behind anything to continue to keep going. Another thing is for some people, could be pain, could be pleasure. For me, stuffing those letters, sending out those mailers, my pain was I wanted out of my 9-to-5. I was there for over a decade. I was beyond ready, and not talking bad about it. I was beyond ready. And that was a pain that was pushing me constantly. Let's grow this thing. I see that there's a path to freedom, financial freedom, and that was through self-storage. And I believed in my heart that was going to happen. So another one, actually, I'm reading my notes here that I wrote down before the show, but another one is belief. If you don't believe, one, in yourself, and two, in the mission or your goal, whatever you've got going on, if you don't believe in both those, it's not going to happen, right? You have to have strong belief. You have to be confident in yourself and in the thing that you're trying to accomplish. And I don't know, I'm not going to say I have a great way to have that confidence or belief. It's just something that I think after some research, probably repetitions and in certain areas, you gather that. For myself, I was on a journey for, we'll call it, 5-6 years of trying to find a way to leave my 9-to-5. So once I found self-storage, I had a pretty strong belief. One, a confidence in myself that I was going to find something to leave a vehicle to leave my 9-to-5. But once I found self-storage, I had a very strong belief that, yeah, this is the vehicle that's going to get me there. Another important factor is you got to keep your eye on the prize. It's hard to, I guess, I don't want to say describe yourself, but look at key attributes to yourself. But I'm probably a pretty disciplined person, and keeping an eye on the prize is probably somewhat, I don't want to say easy, but maybe easier for me. It's harder for me to get distracted. If I've got a goal, I'm going towards that goal, and then I'm breaking my goals down to, like I talked about earlier, to make me feel good about hitting small goals and continued momentum, all that stuff. So keep your eye on the prize. I think that's important. I don't really know if I can expand on that. Keep your eye on the prize. You got to stay focused, laser focused. So whatever it is you're trying to do, obsession is probably, I know Grant Cardone's talked about this. You have to be obsessed with something to be successful. I don't know if you have to be completely obsessed. At times I was without a doubt obsessed trying to leave my 9-to-5, and it without a doubt helped me. So I don't regret it, but I think you probably have to go through seasons of obsession, or else, who knows, you could somehow spiral out of control in a way that may affect your life, your family, relationships, stuff like that. So I think obsession is important, and staying laser focused on where you're trying to go. The last thing I wanted to hit on was surround yourself with the right people. And when I first started trying to leave my 9-to-5, I didn't tell many people that I was trying to do it. We'll call it maybe a handful at best, until I got to basically right before the finish line. And it's like, oh yeah, pretty close here. This is going to happen. But going forward, going past that, I wanted to grow my business. So I started to network, being around people that were also growing their business, specifically in self-storage, and being around supportive people. So I think that's helpful. Now, some people may thrive off of people kind of doubting them. which at times I enjoy that, but I don't know if you can use that. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking as I'm talking here, but I'm sure there are people that do thrive off people doubting them. But at the same time, you can't have everyone in your circle doubting you. I don't think that's good energy. I just think that's at some point you're going to fail. You do need a support system that's going to support you through the thick and thin. So, and I'm just, as I'm talking, I'm thinking examples. And first one comes to mind is Michael Jordan. He without a doubt thrived on people doubting him, questioning him, challenging him in ways, but he also had a strong support system, right? He had people in his corner that were telling him at whatever point that you are the best. You're the best ever. And so he had a little bit of both, which probably helps. So again, it's probably can't have all doubt. You got to have people in your corner that are supporting you and helping you reach your goals. And yeah, that's really all I've got. Would love to hear your thoughts. Appreciate all the feedback, all the support everyone's given. And hopefully this helps. Till next time. Thank you.
Thanks for following, subscribing, and listening to this episode of the Do More podcast hosted by John Farling. To learn more or ask questions, go to l4investing.com.